We're coming to you live from the Build 4 Tough Studio. Boomer Esiason, Greg Giannotti. It's Boomer and Gio on the Fan. Simulcast across the country on CBS Sports Network. And wherever you are in the free Odyssey app. Good Friday morning. It is a feel-good football Friday. We experienced lots of losing yesterday. The Vikings got killed by the Chargers. The Rangers lost to a winless Sharks team. Boomer and I lost to Wally Zerbiak and Greg Buttle, but we're washing that off today. We're forgetting about that. Mike Tomlin says there's a reason why the windshield is bigger than the rearview mirror, because we're looking ahead. And we're looking ahead to the New York Giants and the Philadelphia Eagles. We are looking ahead to maybe, quite possibly, a Jet. No, they're not going to win. They're not going to win. Come on. What are we talking about here? They're not going to win. And Sauce Gardner's not going to play. It's a complete disaster there. But we're going to have some fun today. And we got to get more into the gambling scandal that came out yesterday as well. Good morning, Boomer. How are you?
Yeah, good morning, Jim. Kind of like you. Your Vikings got torched last night. My Rangers lost to that winless team, the Sharks, last night. And, so I'm not really happy this morning, but I'm not going to let it affect a feel-good Friday because, there is a lot of football to be talked about. And, yes, there is a lot more now that has come out with this NBA gambling fiasco. And one of the interesting things this morning, I don't know if you saw this. I woke up to it this morning. I did not see it yesterday because we were playing golf yesterday. And, yes, we did lose to Wally and Buttle. But it was a great day nonetheless. But, here's the thing. I wake up this morning and I see that Kash Patel, the FBI director, basically torching Stephen A. Smith.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right.
Torched, unloaded,
trashed. So now we're getting into this. And I guess that Stephen, I did not see it. I only read about it, and I haven't seen the video yet. But I guess Stephen A. Smith is blaming Donald Trump for the arrest of all these people that are attached to the NBA, both in the card and poker world and also in the Rosier gambling and throwing game world. And the fact that you would actually even think that Donald Trump is doing this when these guys are doing it to themselves and the integrity of the league is at stake here. I mean, I don't know how big this thing is. And, of course, Kash Patel goes on to say, I decide which arrest to make, and that's the way it's going to be. Nobody tells me who to arrest or when to arrest somebody. And giving everything that's going on in the world, the last thing I think Donald Trump is doing is calling up Kash Patel saying, go after the NBA players. That is so far out in left field that it's ridiculous.
Yeah, it was surprising to me because I know that Stephen A. Smith has been involved in politics a little bit, and he's not somebody who is totally against the current administration. But this was a wild accusation, and it almost made me think, because his accusation was so wild, I started thinking about an accusation against him because I'm thinking, is this his way to deflect attention away from what's going on with the NBA, because ESPN and the NBA are such major partnerships that he's trying to go, hey, look over here at the shiny object and don't worry about what's going on with our major partner because he's their biggest voice that they have?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we could tie everything to everybody in some way, shape, or form and look back at something that they may have said 10 years ago and then bring it up today and use it against them. But this is... We were talking about this yesterday when the story broke, and we were talking about just how scared, I would think, not scared is probably a little bit maybe the wrong word, but I think worried is the better word. All of the major sports commissioners are about protecting their league integrity. It's the most important thing. If it continues and it grows and there's more to it, do you think people are going to want to buy tickets to see these games? Do you think that networks are going to want to spend money on the rights to these sports? I mean, that's how deep and how strong and how important these things are to get right. And, it's almost as if Stephen A. was saying, they're doing it, leave them alone. You can't. You have to do something about it.
Yeah, and another thing that made me think that this was like a correlated effort by personalities on ESPN. There was one guy, though, I have to say, who did not align with the this is something else like Donald Trump or it's not a big deal, was Brian Windhorst. I'll get to him in a second. But I also saw a clip of Dog, who, by the way, works for ESPN now, alongside Stephen A. Smith going, if anybody thinks this is a big deal, this is not a big deal at all. I mean, geez, you're talking about a guy in Damon Jones who hasn't played in a million years. Terry Rozier, who the NBA cleared, by the way. And I'm like, the NBA cleared him because they knew it was a giant scandal, and they tried to brush it under the rug. And the FBI said, no, there's something to this. You can't clear him. We have to clear him, and we're not clearing him because there's so much wrongdoing, and we have all the evidence. And by the way, Brian Windhorst had the balls to go on yesterday on the air and say, somewhere on a podcast, I think, someone's got to explain to us why the NBA cleared Terry Rozier and then we didn't see him for the rest of the year when he actually didn't have an injury. That, to me, is part of this whole thing. NBA knew he did something wrong. They kept him away. They lied about it. They cleared him and tried to make it disappear. So, I mean, for Stephen A. Smith and for Dog to do that when the NBA is one of their biggest properties there at ESPN, to me, is that's something that's got more legs than Donald Trump told Kash Patel to arrest Chauncey Billups. I mean, what the hell?
Jesus. It really, I mean, I guess if you want to tie things together, you can understand how people would go down this road because everything seems to be bent around politics, especially over the last 10 years. There's no question there's an incredible intensity in that world, and now it's being supposedly brought into the sports world. I don't know if these guys are doing what they are accused of doing, and right now they all have to go through due process. They all we have to deal with the presumption of innocence, but we are reacting to the charges. We are reacting to the arrests, and to think that a sitting president has the time to want to do this is I don't know. To me, it just seems ridiculous, especially with everything that's going on.
You know, I understand that, using the talking about the NBA players and having them be the part of the press conference and going right into that is important to get attention of everybody. But I mean, also, the crime families were involved in this too. Like, I mean, I heard Kash Patel actually say yesterday, La Cosa Nostra, in front of a microphone, which was like unbelievable. And he's talking about the Gambino and Lucchese, and he's going on and on. So, I mean, this isn't just some NBA problem. This is also a organized crime problem that was cracked down. It was two different investigations that ended up going into each other. And now it came to roost. And by the way, I mean, this was going on for a couple of years.
And by the way, this whole card dealing thing, this poker stuff with the X-ray glasses and
marked cards, see-through tables,
see-through tables, and everything else is just insane.
Yeah,
it's insane. Yeah. And if in fact proved to be true, I mean, where is the end game here? What is the end game, and how many more people are going to be implicated in this? I mean, it is I don't know. It's a huge deal. Everybody's going to have an opinion about it, but when I woke up and I saw that this morning, I just couldn't believe my eyes. I don't know. What do you want the FBI to do? The FBI is charged with looking for crimes and charging people with those crimes. And this particular set of crimes could really lead to so much negativity in regards to the NBA.
Yeah, I mean, it has. It has all day yesterday. It's going to continue. I mean, I don't know how many people like this. This is in no way saying it is a very, very big deal. But I wonder, with everybody knowing this and understanding that this stuff has gone on, and there's probably other examples we don't know about of players trying to manipulate the prop bets, what percentage of the NBA fan that wants to see their team's game in the next game because the season just started is that prevalent in their mind? Like, and that's I don't have that answer. Like when we put on the Knicks the next time and we see a guy who a rebound slips out of his hands or he misses a free throw or he limps off and he looks like he's faking an injury, is that going to be in our brain and go, oh, wait a second. Now, I would imagine fresh off of this, anybody who is engaged in that type of behavior to do it so soon after the FBI just had this press conference would be a complete moron. So when I'm watching the game, I'm going to be saying there's no way this is going on, at least right now. And it may take some time from this press conference for someone else to get involved, but I'm going to be choosing to watch the games, at least in the NBA, since this just happened, and assuming that it's above board.
I'm actually glad that somebody with a clear head over there, Brian Windhorst, asked that question, because that is a very important question. You did your investigation. all of a sudden he sat down and he doesn't play the rest of the year. And you cleared him, and now he's arrested?
Yeah.
So what does that tell you about the NBA then?
Well,
that's the big question that Brian Windhorst is asking. Somebody has to explain how the NBA cleared this guy, and he still got paid, and he didn't play, but it wasn't because he was injured.
Yeah.
And they have video evidence of games in which he is playing where he is obviously doing something to affect somebody's prop bet.
Yeah. So it was actually, yesterday he was on a show, Windhorst. It was not an ESPN show. He goes, the sports book caught it. They told the NBA right away. And guess what? This is Windhorst's quotes. The NBA, Rozier didn't play the rest of the season, and he had faked the injury. So it wasn't because the injury. The NBA pulled him. This is Brian Windhorst, end quote there. So, I mean, he is telling you that the NBA had conspired to cover this thing up at the time.
That's what it sounds like right now.
That's what he's saying.
Yeah.
He said the NBA pulled him. He said that. A guy who covers the NBA. So the fact that the NBA knew about this and is now trying to cover it up is a huge problem.
I mean,
it's even a bigger issue.
Is this like Michael Jordan going to baseball?
Yeah, I mean,
now,
I didn't think
I know there are a lot of players that do enjoy going to Las Vegas, as we know.
Mm-hmm.
We've often talked about that. We know that there are a lot of players that love, playing cards and doing the normal legal way of gambling, with their own money. We know that there have been players, from all leagues, I'm sure, that have gotten in trouble in some way, shape, or form, and probably gotten in over their head. And but this is really interesting about the NBA's actions surrounding Rozier. That is really, and I could if in fact the NBA did what Brian Windhorst is suggesting, that is a huge deal. That is a huge deal. And Stephen A. Smith and Dog and everybody else can try to protect the NBA or say what they want to say about what is going on here, because there are other reasons as to why they're going on, because there's political reasons, I guess. But the fact of the matter is, if this is happening, you got to stop it.
Yeah, and I really do like Dog. He's one of the best talk show hosts to have ever lived. He inspired me when I was younger, but that was absolutely irresponsible to go on the air with that take that he had yesterday. To sit there and just slough it off and say that we're not going to pay attention to the Terry Rozier arrest because the NBA cleared him, as opposed to taking a look forward to see why the NBA cleared him. And then he does 2 minutes on saying it's not a big deal, and then goes to an interview with Terry Lavello, the manager of the Diamondbacks, on the World Series.
But he,
like what?
But we also know Dog's a gambler.
Well, yeah, but
he's actually gambled on sports. So have we, for that matter.
But that shouldn't change anything. To me, it's not the gambling that I think gave him that take. This is just an assumption of mine, but it's more the fact that that ESPN thing is like the best thing that ever happened to him, and he doesn't have the balls to stand up there and criticize the NBA, which is a major partner with ESPN, especially when he sees the guy who brought him over there on that First Take show sit there and try to take bullets for the NBA on the air, too. That's what I think.
What I like to see is I'd like to see Adam Silver interviewed and asked the direct question that Brian Windhorst brings up.
And Brian Windhorst, by the way, works for ESPN still to this day, and he had the guts to bring that up.
These guys are arrested.
No, I know, but here's the thing. Like he could have gone with the take that everybody had yesterday that we brought up too, which was, why are you doing this stuff when you're making that much money, and could it be a gambling addiction? And you take a look at why they did this and how they got involved and blah blah blah. And then it was like, it's a big problem for the NBA. What Windhorst did was, well, the NBA is involved too.
Yeah.
By the way, because nobody's talking about this. So that to me took some.
Like if the sports site recognized immediately what was happening.
Yeah.
So they tell the NBA first. Like the sports site doesn't go to the FBI, or do they?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I just know that they caught it, and this is what Windhorst said. The sportsbook caught it. They told the NBA right away.
Okay, so nobody had brought in the FBI, or maybe the NBA brought in the FBI.
Yeah,
after the fact. I don't know.
Well, I know that obviously the FBI ended up investigating this particular thing. Now, I don't know if the sports books tell the NBA and tell the FBI simultaneously.
Now, I've told you that there are a number of companies out there that these leagues hire that just absolutely watch everything that's being bet on. And they can see the abnormalities when they happen. And they are then told about those abnormalities. And then those leagues, then I would think, contact the agent of the player, bring the player in, and then they try to decipher what exactly went on here. And if there is something that is as throwing games or throwing prop bets, I mean, that's flat out the integrity of your league. And it's illegal.
Yeah.
I mean, somebody has to do something about it.
Of course.
You can't just sit there and think that, the president decided that this is going to happen and we're just going to keep letting this go on. Are you out of your minds?
Yeah. I mean, I'm hoping that whatever other examples of this that are happening in pro sports now end up stopping, because this was such a large-scale thing yesterday. But, I mean, I'm sure every pro sport has got an issue. I'm sure they do. If this is happening in the NBA and so prevalently, I'm sure there's been a lot of other examples that I don't even want to know about at this point. I just hope that it stops so me as a fan can sit and watch these games and feel like everything I'm watching is for real.
And when you think about all the different things that happen in NFL games on a weekly basis, and you had something happen to your team last night.
Yeah,
that was a game-changing, momentum-changing overturn. When you and I could look at what we saw last night with Isaiah Rodgers, a defensive back for the Minnesota Vikings. It looks like he has a clear interception, and he runs it back for a touchdown. And guess what? No catch.
Yeah, and I actually
and by the way, every turnover is automatically reviewed.
Yeah, I mean, I thought, I don't know. I mean, it was reviewed. They overturned it, fine. But I actually thought the Hawkinson one was clearer to me that it wasn't a catch. This, to me, I really thought. That was
in the previous game, and that's the tight end who was throwing a ball, who many liken that catch, the T.J. Hawkinson catch, to that of the Travis Kelce catch.
Right, yeah.
And we all know that Taylor was there in the stadium.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so there's all that conspiracy stuff, but I would say that this basically goes to the crux of everything else. And, you and I sit here, and we read live reads for FanDuel. They're a big sponsor here, and they're a big partner with WFAN, also the NFL, also the NBA, and they're also ones that are watching the kind of the betting arcs, and they're looking at it, and they're looking for any sort of fraud or anything that is associated with any player. They do have the internal controls to see that.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know why the players in this case wouldn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean, they don't want
that to happen.
Yeah, I mean, people want to completely put blame on the sports books. I understand, because it's in your face so much, it's more opportunity for people to get involved. There's no denying that. But the sports books don't want any of this fraud. I mean, it's the worst thing that could possibly happen to them, because that means they're losing more money if someone's trying to beat the system.
And it would be the sports books also down in Atlantic City, over here at MetLife Stadium, out in Vegas, anywhere where there's a legal sports book, other than just the apps. Obviously they're all aware when something is wrong and something's a little bit off, and somebody's all of a sudden coming in with some $50,000 bet tied to some random fourth or fifth running back on a team.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the issue here, and that's why when a Terry Rozier prop bet comes in and it's tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of dollars that's won on this one particular bet, it's always going to get caught. It's just always going to get caught.
And then depending on how big it is, how much money is being either won or stolen in this case, that's when the FBI has got to get involved.
Yeah.
And by the way, this investigation seems like it's been going on for quite some time.
Oh, yeah.
It just didn't happen in the last week.
No, well, the prop bet stuff with Rozier, that was obviously 2023. The poker stuff has been going on for far longer than that.
I know, but the point being is that means the previous FBI, if they weren't tipped off to it, the previous FBI director did nothing about it. Or he did do something about it, and they were in the middle of the investigation when the new FBI director took over. And then the new FBI director, looking at all their investigations that were ongoing while he took the job, now decides where they really want the push to happen, because that's the purview of the director.
There's one more thing here, too, that I wanted to mention that's just another horrible thing for the NBA. So when everybody was going through the documents, co-conspirator 8, everybody has linked as Chauncey Billups, because everything just makes sense in the information that we know. So in this document, it says that co-conspirator 8 shared tanking information to bettors about the team that he was coaching. So not only now do we have a head coach who's sharing information to bettors about who's going to play and who's not going to play, we have direct evidence that a team in the NBA is actually tanking top of it.
Right, and here's the thing. It's amazing. As a player, the NFL would always hold seminars for us, just basically laying out why it's important. Like, we could not go back in the day. If you remember, Tony Romo had an appearance in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And the NFL shut it down. Do you remember that?
Yeah, of course. It was a big deal.
Right.
Yeah.
So during my time, we were not allowed to go on cruise ships, because cruise ships out into international waters become casinos, floating casinos. Mm-hmm. So we were not allowed to make appearances on cruise ships. I mean, that's how diligent the NBA was. I mean, the NFL was back in those days. Like, no Vegas, no Atlantic City, no cruise ships. You can't go anywhere near a casino. You can't even play cards. Nowadays it's different. These guys have the apps on their phones. They can place bets on other sports, but they can't do it while they're on the property of the NBA club, or the NFL club.
Yeah,
I'm not sure about the NBA total rules, but I know the NFL will not allow a player to make a bet from his phone on a team's property.
Yeah, I would imagine you're going to see a lot of changes to rules and what players can and cannot do when it comes to gambling after all of this in all leagues. All right, Boomer and Gio on the Fan and CBS Sports Network. Just getting started. It's a feel-good football Friday. CeeLo's got an update for us, just a couple of minutes.